Alrighty, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Long time no see. And today we're gonna kick off our X Spaces V2. How you doing, Chris?
Yo, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been a long time, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I can't complain, man. I'm just super excited for everything that's transpired and what's to come.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off. So again, guys, like we said it before, it's been quiet, but not by accident. We've been building, and today we're gonna kick off the silence with Q2. Things we're going to be talking about is our roadmap, what we've been doing, what we've been building, some of our products we've done, how scheduled sending and now is APIs, some cool stuff we got with the SoonPay integration, talk to the SoonPay team, and much more. So let's go ahead and get started. So yeah, roadmap wise. So in terms of Liquid Agent, we've grown from a product that was the natural language of Web3 autonomy to your money made simple, send, earn, save. And, the whole ethos of what we've been doing at Liquid Agent, again, is to make it and kind of growth where we are preaching being a producer over a consumer, as well as making blockchain not only accessible through everyone through education, but the products that we're building, abstracting away blockchain where they don't even need to know that it's blockchain. So let's go ahead and kick it off. So what I'll do is, if you guys haven't seen it already, Liquid Agent has actually gotten a nice little front end change. If you haven't seen it already, let me go ahead and just share my screen real quick so we can take a look at it. Let me know. Can you see my screen, Chris?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So if you haven't already, this is Liquid Agent now. So if you go to Liquid Agent AI, it's no longer just a landing page, it's the actual product. We wanted to make it very simple. Everything is here. Again, you can simply just click here, go to our docs, make it very, very easy for you to understand. Go to the overview, how it works, the different things with the send, save, earned, insights, the architecture, how everything works in a very high level through payments, AI insights, lending, and our LVN network. Again, the token, the fees, FAQ, and then really just the dashboard. Very simple, very easy. Again, if you want to set up payments, go to payments here. If you want to go to staking, you simply go to stake here, unstake here, purchase here. You have your lending as well as your insights, which is really, really great. So again, very, very easy. Nice little front end changes I just wanted to show you, but I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. But Chris, go ahead and just talk about updates of things you've been building in terms of Liquid Agent, and then we can go ahead and get the SoonPay team on stage.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I can do is I would share my screen as well. But first, let me pull up one quick little thing. Um, cool. So now let's share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
I cannot. Let me actually do this. All right, you're good to go.
Okay. Okay, you can see it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm dropping out of the scene. We can see it.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. So the first thing that we focused on with Liquid Agent is, um, you know, the automation, making it seamless for people to actually be able to participate in blockchain and Web3. Um, we eventually got to a point where we wanted to experiment on other ecosystems. And so we first looked into the world ecosystem. World is a blockchain that is all about simplicity and also bringing the world into blockchain via what's called the orbs. And the world ecosystem, they have a lot of amazing grant programs and different little incentives that we saw and wanted to take advantage of, and they have an awesome community. So we wanted to place Liquid uh, along inside their ecosystem. So Liquid on World is our USDC bridge, and individuals can simply bridge USDC on World to other chains. As you can see, it is a mini app. So on the World ecosystem, they have mini apps, and they're very similar to like iOS apps or Android applications. As you can see, pretty amazing rating, and there's about 2,294 real humans that have actively engaged with the bridge. So that's really cool. The next thing that we've been building is we've been exploring prediction markets, and I like to call them conditional settlement markets as well, but people know them as prediction markets. And we experimented with our own version called Navier, which is a decentralized prediction market. So individuals can, actually place their own predictions or make their own predictions if they wanted to, and then people can, of course, trade off of that. But eventually, we decided to do some research and development into Polymarket, and so we actually started exploring Polymarket and the 5 minute up and down for Bitcoin. And so, nonstop building, just understanding how the market goes. And we actually ended up building a few Polymarket bots that had some pretty good success. This one here is the one I'm showcasing right now. Total 311 trades, 293 wins, 18 losses, profit and loss, $345 up with the win streak of 3. This one started about 2 weeks ago. And so with that, we are always exploring different opportunities and seeing how we can actually integrate Liquid into something like this. You can see here the percentages per hour. So over time, you see which trades actually are the best per hour and which ones are the worst. If you look at the win losses for the hour, you can also see that as well. So for example, you can see out of the 311 trades, 6 a.m. seems to be the best. Actually, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. Quite a bit seem to be pretty good over about a 2 week or so span. Gives the best hours, the direction performance, win streaks, best days, average streaks, and expectancy as well. So we've been exploring with Polymarket. And then the next thing that we've been exploring that Van discussed about is the Liquid Agent Developer API. This allows for individuals, if they want to connect our scheduled payment system into their platform, they can do so. You want to set up something and use the scheduled payments API, you can do so. So we've been setting that up and scaling that out. And then the next thing that we've been working on is we've been actually working on a Liquid bridge, or rather a USDC bridge, but we named it Liquid Bridge. This expands on top of the scheduled payment system. So individuals will be able to come in, and if they want to, they can, bridge from USDC on ETH. We're going to start on Ethereum and build out from there. And then we're going to, of course, expand to other chains on Liquid Agent's platform. So it's very similar to Liquid on World Chain, but of course, it's putting Ethereum in the main focus. And so individuals will be able to go on Liquid Agent's page and then be able to bridge their USDC onto any chains right now, testing with Avalanche, Optimism, Arbitrum Base, Polygon, World Chain, and many more. And then the awesome thing is, if you hold a certain amount of liquid, you'll get a fee discount. So, normally you probably get charged to do a quick bridge for maybe 20 cents or so, or 25 cents. With a certain amount of liquid, you would get half off on your bridges. Um, the awesome thing is we explored some other technology with this, where again we built off of the scheduled payments, so individuals of course can be able to send payments to somebody. But I was thinking far into the future. Well, what if you get to a point where you think about payroll, or think about individuals that are maybe in different countries, and they seem to like better chains other than others. Not better chains, but they like a preferred chain other than others. And so then that's when I explored schedule bridging. The schedule bridging allows you to schedule your bridges, so that if you, let's say, you wanted to schedule a USDC payment on Ethereum to someone on AVAX within 2 hours, you can set it and forget it and schedule it. And within that 2 hour span, that bridge will be placed and good to go. The other thing is the reoccurring bridge. So allowing an individual to bridge USDC on one blockchain, and then be able to, of course, cross chain it to another chain, but a reoccurring scheduling event. So it's like, if I have someone on payroll and I say, hey, every 2 weeks, this person likes USDC on base, I'll set this up for every 2 weeks. They're able to make the payments and go from there. So of course, again, with you holding liquid, you get the fee discount. And you can pause it, you can cancel it if you want to. Here's a few that I've actually tried. I know it's in dark mode, but you should still be able to see it. This one, I paused it. I have 2 remaining trades. I did another one last night, $5 every 10 minutes. And let's do it 2 times. And it did execute, where it was able to send off from USDC on Ethereum to USDC on Base. And so these are the features that these are the features that we've been building, the things that we've been building. A lot of research and development has happened, and super excited to show everything that we've been building thus far. And we'll showcase the next thing pretty soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And before we have the amazing team from SoonPay, super excited for you to, of course, hear from Richard Kimsey. You all love him. But as well as Mr. Fuji Kalisa, who was supposed to be on one of our calls, but unfortunately had technical difficulties. But he is now here. But before we get him on stage, I know you guys are super excited to hear from them, to see what's happening with SoonPay. We have some awesome news. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. Gentlemen in the back, don't worry, I'll keep it brief. Just going to get them warmed up, and we'll go ahead and get you on stage. So I would like to announce and let you guys know that SoonPay is now live. So what does that mean? Let me do this. Okay, so if you simply just go to soonpayapp.io, it is now live. You can download the app on the Android store. You can also use the desktop app in Apple coming soon. So you can, again, go through this. The gentleman on the SoonPay team will explain what SoonPay is, who they are, what SoonPay is, the problem that you're solving. Again, if you want to know more about the team, you can simply just go about us. You can kind of scroll down, look at the mission, look at the core values, what they do, the global remittance presence, their partnerships, as well as, the leadership team. You can click Mr. Kalisa's bio, see what he's about. Likewise with Richard Kimsey. But again, simply, all you have to do is just sign up an account. And once you sign up, you're fully into SoonPay. You can sign in, and once you sign in, it'll actually bring you to the app. You click continue, and boom. Well, of course, it's actually before PIN, which is fine. Let me get that real quick. Of course, we always have our 2FA authentication to make sure that we are safe. 197663. If I continue, and I'm in. You're in like that, and it's super simple. Again, we're still doing a lot of tests, but it is open and ready to go. You can simply add your money, link your bank account, be able to do that. You're able to withdraw. We have the crypto page. Of course, we're still integrating the liquid into the application. But right now, you can purchase Bitcoin and Ethereum in 3 different USDCs, Polygon Base, and Ethereum. But yeah, that's that. It's here. It's live. We're super excited. And let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen and get the gentleman on stage, Mr. Richard Kimsey and Mr. Fuji Kalisa. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Doing very well, man. Great time.
Yes, and Richard, I think we heard your mouth, but we don't hear you, unfortunately. Let's see here. Still don't hear you. Let me see here. Your microphone is on. Can you guys hear Richard?
No.
No? Okay, we hear you now. Say something again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Like the old Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining our live stream V10. How has everything been?
Great.
We're getting, all sorts of partnerships putting together. Fuji and I were just on a call earlier with some of the banks, getting all the things lined up, which is, that's the greatest obstacles that you have to do. Again, dealing with global money transmission or remittance apps, you've got to deal with banks and the banking regulations and the central banks of each country. Fuji's been doing a phenomenal job getting these relationships established. But it's a exciting time. I mean, we're launched, we're building it. We plan to take this thing to the greatest heights.
And sorry to cut you off, Van, but just to, for anyone that's new, can you explain what SoonPay is?
Sure.
Well,
Okay.
before that, give your introduction, who you are, and then from your perspective as the CFO of SoonPay, what is SoonPay, what is it solving? And then we can go ahead and go over to Mr. Kalisa.
I'm Rick Kimsey, Chief Financial Officer of SoonPay. Basically, SoonPay is it's a global money transmission or remittance app. It's available on Android, soon to be on Apple platforms, and it's built on stablecoin rails. We're basically a US FinCEN requirement compliant, which means we comply with the strictest global know your customer and anti-money laundering regulations. We're similar to Zelle or Venmo or PayPal, except we're global. As we were talking earlier, each country has its own banking regulations. It's extremely time consuming to become licensed in multiple countries. The big guys are waiting for somebody like SoonPay to come do all the legwork to establish the money transmission licensing, set up the local banking regulations and the banking relations, and then build the large number of locations that are needed to facilitate these remittances, places for the people in countries to go get their money. Once all that infrastructure is established, we become a very good asset for acquisition, for growth, whatever. Unlike our competitors, we work with both fiat and cryptocurrencies. Through our partnership with Liquid Agent, with Chris and Van and their team, they're the key partners in the crypto side of all of our work. We're focused on smaller transactions. If you wanted to send $100,000 overseas, you can use the current SWIFT network, which is the global banking network, to wire money around. Yeah, you'll pay $45-50 on one end, $45-50 on the other end, and you can, get a transaction for $100,000. That's inexpensive. But if you want to send $100, $200, $300, $3,000, that's kind of expensive. I mean, you send $100 and you got to pay 50 on one end and 50 on the other. There's no money there for the recipient. So that's where we come in. we can do it more efficiently and more effectively than the SWIFT deal is for smaller transactions. And that's the ones we're going for. We're going for the diasporas of each of these countries to be able to remit money back and forth to these countries, but also we can get them to be able to send money intra-country in, say, Africa, intra-country, intra-country. And one of the things in my experience with Franz Morency as we've gone over the globe, getting money is very difficult. And this is what is, I mean, like we've been in Turks and Caicos and the ATMs are out of money at noon. And so you can't get cash. And so we looked at this opportunity, and this is where Franz came up with the idea for SoonPay, is we need to be able to facilitate intra-country trade and inter-country trade. So they can borrow money, I mean, not borrow money, they can send money, buy things across country lines, or if I'm inside of, say, Uganda, I can send it to somebody else in Uganda, just like you do Venmo and Zelle and PayPal in the United States. You can now do that in each of these countries. And that's what makes it exciting. I mean, and it's a simple process. I mean, basically, we do is, let me get the, see, I can't share this on your screen yet. But we make our money two ways. We get a small transfer fee, 1.5% of the amount. If you send something like, other, Western Union or something like that, you're going to pay 8 to 10% to transmit money. We're 1.5%. And we get a small, about 1.5% on the foreign exchange to take the foreign exchange risk because they fluctuate. And our costs are basically, you verify the customer identity. That's the know your customer part. And then we have to process the money. We have to take money out of their accounts. So we have to pay ACH fees and stuff like that. And then we have to transmit the funds to the third party. And then we have to pay a third party in country to deliver the money to the recipient. So those are our basic costs. And it's really relative. I mean, you make it up in the volume. The marginal costs are nominal, but the volume really drives it. And when you're talking billions and billions of dollars being transmitted globally, that adds up to a lot of money. And we see that as a tremendous opportunity for SoonPay to beat everybody to the punch in doing this on global, but doing it with both crypto and fiat currency. That's the big differentiation right there. That's pretty much what SoonPay is. Dan's already showed you how easy it is to get online.
Yes. Thank you, Richard. Mr. Kalisa, sir, how are you?
I'm well. Feeling good. Life couldn't be better.
Beautiful. So for the people who haven't heard from you yet, let's kind of get a background of who Mr. Kalisa is, your role at SoonPay, and then the problem that SoonPay is solving from your perspective, and we can go from there.
Yes, thank you, Van. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Rich. What a presentation and what a team. I celebrate teams because you can't go by yourself. I like working with teams like you. I've enjoyed and I'm still enjoying it. So I am Fuji Kalisa. Everyone is different among ourselves, but what makes me different on this team is that I am originally from Africa. I was born there, and right now I'm in a small town in Massachusetts called Concord. It's lovely. It's a little rain outside, but it's a lovely place to be. I am the business development executive at SoonPay. I love what I'm doing. This is, what we are building is not just a business for me. It is a passion. It is, the NDA within me, because growing up in a very small village in Uganda, I saw and I still see when I go there the problems of people. When someone leaves the village and they go to a city in Kampala, that one is a celebrity now. But now, if someone leaves Kampala or leaves the village and he goes to Milwaukee, or someone goes to Denver, Colorado, or the Emirates, or wherever, London, that one now is a hero in the village. So there has been a lot of friction between the diaspora and their heritage to send money. And this has been something that has been itching all the time in my spirit. And I'm like, how do we solve this? And I've seen companies that have tried to solve this, but they are coming from the other side of, I would call it privilege, where actually they don't feel the needs of the people. They do not feel that person who is in London sending money, that actually that money is for health. That money is to take back the cousin to school. That money is for a funeral. Someone has lost their dear ones. That money is for, buying groceries, to buy paraffin to put in the candle so they can have light when having dinner. So these are passionate things for me. Growing up, seeing them, and up to today still happening, connecting the diaspora to their heritage is a passion. I love what I'm doing. I love the team. And that's why Sunpay is different, because that's why we are coming up with all these different products, like the healthcare, which Rich mentioned a little bit, like making all these partnerships. Here is a shirt which represents what we are doing in Uganda, for example, our launchpad. We have Prudential, our partner, who is the insurance company that we have connected the APIs, and we are collecting insurances for the diaspora and their heritage at the same time. We have partnered with NSSF. This is the pension company, whereby we have transformed the way people save. And what we are doing is save for a purpose. If you want to buy a home, if you want to pay school fees, and you want your money to grow, then you put in a little money. At the end of the year, it has accumulated. And of course, with partners like Liquid Agent, this money is going to grow, 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 grow. And what is the diaspora receiving? Very, very good products. I mean, very, very good returns. And then we've partnered with Makerere University, as you saw last time, of which I missed to appear because of technicalities. Like Van just said, we are at Makerere we have set up a lab whereby students are learning already about blockchain, about all these things, fancy things we are talking about. So Sunpay is basically a partnership launchpad, so that whoever is doing and whoever we are partnering with, they do what they do best, but using the Sunpay platform. I love it. I'm going to continue doing it, and the sky is going to be the limit. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Everyone download the app, because that's when it's going to start. It's like a Zelle. It's like Cash App. You can use it in the United States. You can use it wherever wherever you live, but also send money to the Caribbean, send money to Africa, send money to India, send money to China, wherever. So Sunpay is here to stay and here to change people's lives. Thank you so much.
Now, what Fuji failed to talk about was he's the one that developed a lot of these exclusive relationships in Uganda. The NSSF, which is like our Social Security, unlike our Social Security, each account is owned by the individual, which means that when money goes into those accounts, those individuals keep those accounts, and that becomes an asset to the family. And the Prudential insurance is like a health savings account like we have here in the US. Now, part of the fees that SoonPay gets, we contribute into the NSSF and the Prudential. So we're actually, that gives us a competitive advantage. And Fuji negotiated exclusive rights with the NSSF and Prudential. So nobody else can go in there and do this kind of relationship with, the Social Security fund and an HSA fund. So that means that if you're a sender, we're going to go ahead and add a few cents into the NSSF and into the HSAs. But at the same time, the sender can go, I'd like to add another $1, $2, $3, $10. They can actually contribute to the recipient's Social Security fund in their name. They can contribute to the health savings accounts in their name. And this is a sustainable competitive advantage. And these are things that Fuji's negotiating with all the countries, because Uganda and NSSF is the bellwether for African Social Security. Every other country, especially in Central, East, and West Africa, they're looking to Uganda as the leader in this technology. And so they're looking at NSSF's, that's hard to say, NSSF's relationship with SoonPay. And we're in these other countries, they're going, we want to build an NSSF for ourselves, and we want to tie up and partner with SoonPay to do the same thing. And as they build up their assets, those assets can be invested via the liquid relationship into, digital coins, stable coins, and the like. So this is why this is so exciting from a crypto side and a fiat side, but it's a sustainable competitive advantage, which, again, until somebody else comes in there and says, okay, we're going to do it with another remittance company, we're establishing these relationships. And this is why Fuji's been so successful. I know he's shy about that, but he's been extremely successful in getting these relationships together. And we see that going, as he said, the Caribbean, all of Africa, the Caribbean, Central and South America, Asia, you name it, Oceania. I mean, there's no restriction on the platform. If you've got access to the internet, you've got access to SoonPay.
Richard, very, very well said, and you make a good point. I just want to give a clap to just the entire team together. Mr. Fujikilisa, Richard, Chris, myself. It's definitely been a long time coming, and to kind of like summarize everything of what the team just said in relation is, this is why we've been so quiet. I've been learning so much from Richard and Fuji. I've been in meetings talking, we were just in a meeting like we just talked about. Of course, you can't just disclose this information. I'm not going to say who, but we were just in a meeting with a very large bank in Uganda. No, I'm sorry, Rwanda. But regardless, they're all over. And then, I think the challenging thing, at least for me, maybe not less for Mr. Kalisa, because he's been doing it for so while, is the time difference. It's a 7-hour time difference. So sometimes I'm talking to government officials and students 2:30, 4 in the morning, my time, but it's okay. Because again, as you all know, when you're building a product or building a business or a startup, that's just the things that people don't see in the back end. Chris and I, we see everything you guys are talking about. It's just, we truly just don't have the time to communicate with you guys. But of course, like I said, as we're growing, as we're raising funds, we're going to scale the team. At the end of the day, and Richard made a good point, is what makes SoonPay different between all these other remittance platforms, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of them. Saving with a purpose. It's a no-brainer to have an app knowing when you're sending money, there's, I guess in the crypto term, you call it utility. What's the utility? Those small fees that's going back into the Prudential and NSSF, it's basically meaning these people who, like Fuji talked about, need basic necessities where unfortunately in the United States, we take for granted, it's going to go so wide and so far. And, just trying to think in the future, like the relationships that Fuji had gotten, to me, that's a monopoly. What other remittance platform do you know is partnered with a Social Security fund and insurance companies to do these type of things? And as we grow and build those relationships, multiple different products will come out of it, whether that's through the traditional finance remittance side, whether that's through blockchain, like the education, and there's so many other products and things we haven't even talked about yet, but that'll come. But no, I'm very excited for everything. Super excited for what we're doing. Again, we will try our best to do more live streams. But again, we're here. Simply just at Chris and I on Telegram. The SoonPay social media platform I know is going to start picking up. But we're always here. We're just busy. Chris has been heads down with everything you just saw, guys. Again, I don't think you guys understand the magnitude of what Richard just said. And if you want Richard, I know we're just talking about words. I don't know if you have it in front of you or memorize it. Can you talk about, or even Fuji? Okay, let's do this. Richard, can you talk about the percentages and numbers in terms of remittances, if you have it on hand? If not, and then Fuji, can you talk about, since you are an African, the amount of people in each region and how this makes a difference? Because I've been learning a lot about different regions around, Uganda. You have, South Sudan, Rwanda, Nigeria, and all these different things. And when Chris and I were physically there, I was mind blown, because one thing, when we went to the UNA conference, we talked about what we're doing. They were really gung-ho on data centers and AI. And they talked about how it's going to take 20 to 30 years to start monetizing. And me and Chris and everyone at the table, I was just like, what are you talking about? You can start monetizing now with validators, right? Computers are, validators are just computers. You can take the assets, the crypto, create validators, and start making, interest now. So anyone can go first, either, Mr. Kim's.
Well, I mean, from the standpoint of how big this is, just Uganda alone, there's the current annual remittance market size is $1.7 billion a year. That's just Uganda. And our target over a 3-year period is to garner 25% of the market. And remember, we've got all these competitive advantages. We think we could get more. I'm a CFO, I'm conservative. And I'm saying that we ought to be able to ramp up to 25% over the course of 3 years. But that means that just at the end of year one, or in the first year, we should have $112 million of transfers. And we get maybe 4 million, 5 million out of that, just in year one. And in year 5, that jumps up to we get 30 million on an 800 million share. Out of the 3.2 billion market, we're going to get 800 million in money transmission in the 5th year. And that's $30 million or so to SoonPay. And then you start looking at, other countries, Zimbabwe's $2 billion. Kenya's $6 billion. Now that's market size of transmission in a year. Currently, another $6 billion in Ethiopia. South Sudan is $2 billion. So you keep adding those up, and we're basically just in what we call CCAL, which is East and Central Africa. There's 15 countries, and consider how many billions of dollars of revenue that could turn into in 5 years. I mean, we're showing just the CCAL markets to be a $2 billion cumulative over 5 years. That's just these countries, and we're going to be in, West Africa, the Caribbean, Central America, South America, Asia, and Oceania. So this thing is going to be big.
That's super bullish. And guys, remember, the SoonPay team, he's just talking about the traditional remittance CFI. We didn't even touch on the numbers of the stablecoin remittance. I believe Uganda ranked number, top of my head, maybe 3 or 5 at 8 billion, just in volume, right? Just volume, not necessarily just volume in general. So yes, this is going to be a very big thing. And again, it's almost like real time with Liquid Agent. Of course, Chris and I've been building it. I believe the actual token itself has been out for how long now, Chris? Maybe 8, 9, 10 months. I think July or June would be a year. And
Yeah.
SoonPay has been building for 5 to 6 years. Again, like Franz had said, he did a thing in reverse. I guess the customer journey of a typical startup is having a MVP or a product to show product market fit. You then pitch to VCs or angel investors to say, hey, I have this product, I have some users, fund me. And then you go out and get these partnerships and grow. Franz, Fuji, Richard, and of course, Chris and I with our partnerships with not just SoonPay, Circle, Stemnet Crypto, he already built those relationships. He already built all that. So now we're coming in with this super app, basically showing, hey, here's everything. Now, Mr. Kalisa, in terms of numbers of the populations, how could you accommodate us with viable information for people understand?
Sure. Thank you, Van. Thank you, Rick. Very good numbers. And again, I want to appreciate Rick for bringing this out, because again, I tend to be humble, and then we see the results. But it's a teamwork. I don't take the credit. If I didn't have you, Rick, if I didn't have you, Van, Chris, we wouldn't be able to make all these partnerships. Going to the question that Van is asking for the benefit of each one of us on this platform is the population. For example, I'll speak on behalf of Africa to give you a picture. Africa now, we are talking about 1.5 billion people. Okay. Yes, the remittances are that huge, and really, and given the times now, the diaspora of the African descent are going to be sending more money even before we have seen before, because of the circumstances happening in the West, happening in the Emirates. People are realizing that it's important to invest in their people more and more. If you talk about the population in West Africa alone, you have countries like Nigeria with 240 million people growing, right? Africa has the youngest population on the whole globe. Uganda is number one, a country. That's why Uganda is a launching pad for us, with 75% of young people below 20 years, 75%. So what does that mean? That these young people just need tools so that they can start a business, they can get into crypto, they can trade, they can do stuff. So they just need what we are creating for them as products. When you look at, another country like Benin with 15 million, you look at Niger with 26 million. So the population is really high, and 1.5 billion and beyond is what we are looking at. How can we bring this market, the new world? Africa is the new world. I'm speaking on behalf, not talking about other corridors. Africa is the new world where everyone who wants to do business in the world, you have to consider Africa now, because that's where new products are needed, innovations are needed. So when we talk about what the whole amounts of pension funds like the NSSFs in the whole continent, we are talking about 700 billion in investment. 700 billion for the whole continent of Africa in the pension funds. They are seated on this money, and they are saying, we have to invest it in assets, real estate. Let's build, but they need innovators like Chris and Van and Rick to come in and say, come on, can we diversify? Can we look at other options of saving money, which is also secure? So this is like liquid agent. So this is where we are going. The numbers are high. the times are right, and the population is ready. They're looking up on what to do next. How can I start a business? So that's why we are creating all these fancy products. I call these products not fancy, but must-have products, because if you're saving, that's a must-have product in life. If you're having healthcare, if you're having life insurance, that's a must-have product. In the West, like Van said, we may take this for granted, but my father deep down in the village needs this like 100 years ago. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fuji. Alrighty. Chris, Richard, I'm not sure if either of you have any other remarks you would like to say before we close it out.
Get on SoonPay and send money. You can send it to me if you want to, but I mean, just send money to your friends.
Yeah, I have a few closing remarks. One is thank you all, SoonPay team, for this amazing partnership. I'm obviously excited for us. I'm excited for SoonPay. It's been a long time coming to actually see it live and actually use it to send money. I sent the dollar to Van, stress testing. He sent my dollar back. He didn't have to do that, but just to see everything.
Well, I sent him $10. Wait a minute, you only sent him $1?
We're just testing. We're just testing.
Yeah, we're just testing, but just to see it all work, just to see all the moving parts in action, all of the years of just planning and development, like coming into this platform. It's just super awesome to see all this happen, and I am just so excited to be a part of the journey. As far as our Telegram, like Van said, market is not really the best at the moment, but we're here. If you tag us, we will respond. If kind of have to realize too, like, and when it comes to the crypto sentiment, things are shifting, things are changing. I don't think the traditional ways of how like crypto projects and platforms, I don't think that type of old way that we used to do things is working. I'm not sure. I think it's more so because of the fact that crypto is also evolving, it's maturing. And so with that, there's not an excuse from us to, not be more engaging. We will. We just, again, been so busy. But just know two things. One, if you can see now, Van and I, even bear or bull, we're builders at heart. We don't care what type of sentiment it is. We're going to build and continue building. And two, slow motion is better than no motion. And I say that to say that I know there's always going to be some people that's disagreeing on like how we do things or how we move or how we interact. But at the end of the day, things are happening. I don't want people to think that things were not happening, and our work is showing for it and it will continue to show for it. But all in all, I'm just grateful to be here talking to you all and building amazing products.
Yes. And then we don't have a set calendar, but again, there are events. I know Fuji knows some. We went to UNAA, the United National Association of Uganda. Is that what it is? The acronym for it? Fuji?
Uganda North America Association.
Yes. So we went to that. When was that? March of last year?
The end of August.
It was August.
Okay. End of August last year. My time is off. It's happening again in September. No. When is it happening?
End of November, Denver, Colorado.
In Colorado. So again, as we continue to build and as we, of course, continue to raise funds and ask people, sign up to SoonPay, SoonPayApp.io. You can download on Android. You can sign up and sign it on the desktop app. iOS coming soon. We will definitely have an event calendar. So if you want to come out to these events and say hello to us in person, please do. But yes, I just want to say thank each and every single person watching the live stream. we're super excited for everything. And again, what Chris is saying, and from my perspective, from the CEO, as Chris and I know, as we fly to DC with the standard crypto Coinbase, crypto is maturing and there's laws and regulation, and because of that, it's going to be less volatile, right? If you look at traditional stocks, and maybe Richard can talk more on this because he has a lot more experience in the financial sector and the regular one. Amazon, Facebook, all these mega trillion-dollar Apple, these companies, I'm sure their stocks were somewhat volatile 20, 40, 50 years ago, but as time progresses, the volatility or the jitter has kind of slowed down. And of course, we can talk about, debasement of the currency and all this other stuff, but we don't have to get into that. All I'm trying to say is when it comes to quote unquote risk on asset crypto token prices, I think integrating with actual traditional Web2 companies is where things are going to pop off, right? If you bought Tesla back in 2010, the stock versus the car, you bought the car for 70K. It's now probably worth 20K. If you bought that stock instead, your 20K at the peak bull during COVID, 2022 is 15 million. All that to say is laws and regulations are here. And as time progresses, and as I now know with working with SoonPay, it's very time consuming and stressful. Going up 4:30 in the morning, getting NDA signed, signing paperwork, going back and forth, me talking with the CTO of SoonPay, trying to get integrations working. But again, we're here, we're live, we're super excited. And I just want to say thank you so much for everyone for joining the live stream. We'll have V11, don't know when. Maybe when Chris and I are out in Uganda, we do one in Uganda. Maybe do like a iShow Speed live stream or something. I think that'd be super cool. But no, I just want to say thank you guys again for joining the live stream. And we'll keep in touch.
Sounds good. Peace, peace, peace.
Take care, guys. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, young man.